House prices have more than doubled in the US since 2012, while median income has only increased a fraction of that in the same period. This means the dream of owning a home is slipping away from many people. The median house price in the US in 2023 is $430,000. But this varies massively depending on the state. In fact, Mississippi is the cheapest state with a median home price of $176,000, while California tops the list at a staggering $760,000. Today, we're going to look at three sample salaries of $40,000, $60,000, and $120,000 to see what price home you can afford by both renting and buying. Let's now reveal the most popular rules to follow when deciding on a house. Up first, we have the 30% renting rule. If you're only here for buying rules, you'll find timestamps in the description to skip ahead. Anyway, the 30% rule suggests you should spend no more than 30% of your gross income on rent. So if you earn $40,000 a year, your rent should be less than $1,000 a month. If you earn $60,000, it's $1,500, and for $120,000, it's $3,000. This rule has been the standard for many years, but with the current skyrocketing inflation rates, student debt, credit card debt, and car payments, we might need to rethink this percentage. Perhaps it's wise to consider lowering this percentage to closer to 25% and live in a more conservative house well within your means and free extra cash for high-interest debt, groceries, and transportation. That's where our next rule, the 50-30-20 rule, comes into effect. This rule states you should spend no more than 50% of your take-home pay on needs such as housing, food, utilities, and transportation, 30% on wants like shopping, eating out, and hobbies, and the final 20% should go towards savings and investments. Following the 50-30-20 rule, you'll definitely spend less than 30% of your income on housing, so for those who want to save extra money for investing, this can be a great rule to follow. Using our three sample salaries from earlier and the 50-30-20 rule, this is how much of your salary should go towards your needs. Remember, needs accounts for food, utilities, transportation, as well as housing. If you're enjoying the video so far, please hit the subscribe button. For those who want to own their own home, we have the first of our home ownership rules, the 28-36 rule. Now, this rule is for lenders to determine how much of a mortgage you can get approved for. The 28 means your mortgage payment should be no more than 28% of your monthly gross income. So looking at our sample salaries, these are the maximum mortgage payments you would get approved for in each case. The 36 part means your mortgage payment, as well as all other debt, should not exceed 36% of your total monthly income. So for our sample salaries, these are the maximum figures for all your debt combined, which includes your mortgage, credit card debt, student debt, etc. The next rule to consider is the 30-33 rule. The first part of this rule states no more than 30% of your gross income should go towards your mortgage payment and home insurance combined. So based on our three sample salaries, there's only a very small adjustment from the previous rule. However, the remaining two parts of the 30-33 rule will significantly alter the price of the home you can afford. The second 30 in this strategy suggests you should have 30% of the home's value saved up in cash or semi-liquid assets. The reason for this is you can afford a 20% down payment, which will give you the best rates on the mortgage, and you'll still have 10% left over for any repairs or unexpected costs. The final three in the rule means you shouldn't buy a house that costs more than 3 times your annual income. So for our three salaries, these are the house prices you should aim for following the 30-33 rule. Let me know in the comments if you think these are reasonable prices. The 3 part of the rule is probably going to be the hardest part to stick to because in many major cities where house prices are particularly inflated like LA and New York, you'd have to be earning a crazy high salary to stick to this rule. If you do manage to follow all 3 parts of the 30-33 rule, then you are in a fantastic financial position. But don't worry if you can't stick to it because it very much depends on your home location. Given the rules we've mentioned so far, it might still be confusing whether renting or buying your home is more expensive. The short answer is it really depends on your circumstances. To make an informed decision, you really need to consider all the costs. When it comes to renting, the value you rent your home for is the most amount of money you'll have to pay each month. So you give your landlord rent, and they are responsible for any repairs, maintenance, and taxes that arise. With owning a home, on the other hand, there are many extra costs you should take into account. Of course, you have the mortgage payment directly to the bank. Then you have property tax. This can vary from 0.5% to over 2% of the property value depending on your state. Home insurance is required for things like fires, water leaks, and theft. You'll have annual repairs, such as repairing the roof and electrical work. Annual maintenance costs also add up significantly, like cutting grass, power washing, and general home maintenance. With all these costs taken into account, you really need to consider your options of both buying and renting and see which is best in your individual case. If you'd like me to make a full video comparing renting to buying, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to check out this video on how much money you should have saved at each age.